Who that? Who that? Why did you why?
Oh, it's nice to see you, but I wish you were here,
Baby. Hi guys and welcome back to the vlog. Today we are doing a what's in my backpack video. So this is the backpack that was given to us by the university. It says Lindenwood Bowling. I'm a little salty because the people that are 2 years younger than I was got black backpacks. That makes me a little bit upset because black is so cute. So here's the backpack. It is Under Armour. It's huge. It is literally ginormous. I understand that I'm part of the issue why it's so big, but because we all have the same backpacks, we have to differentiate them in some way. So how I did that, I have these two little slap bracelets. I got them from Target. And then of course, have all of your little badges. I also have this little identifying tag, and this was just especially for the airports, just so that I didn't lose it. At least they knew my name. And my big thing is keychains. I love a good keychain. For nationals, every year that we went to nationals, I got a new keychain, which was so fun. We went 3 times in the 4 years I was there. So the first year I got this little Vegas keychain. It's just a little poker chip. The second year I got this Louisville Slugger keychain. They're on the same little thing because the Louisville Slugger one broke in the airport, and so I just threw it on the same one because I didn't want to lose it. And then the last time we were in Vegas, I got this little Las Vegas signed keychain. The next keychain I have is this Make America Exotic again, and that is for Joe Exotic. If you know me, you know that I knew Joe Exotic before he was famous. That is my claim to fame, is that I knew that man before he got famous. I knew him before Tiger King. So of course I needed to support him, and I think the keychain was like $1 from his shop, so it was super cheap. I was like, perfect. The next keychain I have is this little dream catcher that my mom got me, and then this little keychain that says Shine Bright on it. So I'm gonna move you to a different angle so that you can see fully what's in my backpack. Okay guys, I have moved to the floor so that I have a little bit more space to go through everything. We're gonna just start in the bottom. There's a little zipper down here. I think a lot of other teams put their shoes down here. I never have, but the only thing I have in here constantly is the Abralon pads. Pretty basic. A pro tip, if you guys are going into college bowling or if you just sand your balls a lot, they have a 4-pack of these on Amazon, and they are super cheap compared to buying each one individually. So please go check that out. They're decent quality Abralon pads, and they're just so much cheaper. Moving on to the main compartments, I'm gonna start right at the front in this little pocket here. So I'm gonna let you guys know that I am doing this off the cuff. I did not go through my backpack before, so we might find some stuff that I don't even know is in there. I will say though, my backpack was gone through before we went to Vegas last. So this is not typically everything that's in my backpack. This is only the essentials. I have bowled a few times since Vegas, so everything in here is things that I do actually use and that are essential to my bowling. The first thing that's in here is this little baggie, and it has a bunch of different chargers and some charging blocks. This was useful both in the bowling alley and even on the bus when we traveled because they did have outlets there. My main tip is to get one of these charging blocks that has 2. Normally I carry in my actual travel compartment, it has 4 of these. It has 2 of these small ones, 2 of the big ones. And that is so helpful, especially if you get to a hotel where something doesn't work. The next thing that's in here is this just in case little pouch. And I don't even know where I got this. I think it used to have like a sewing kit in it. But what I have in here now is gum, Dramamine. This is an essential. If you ever get car sick, I never used to get car sick until we started riding the bus this past year. And then every single time I had to take Dramamine. I have some medicines in here. I have some Alka-Seltzer because I always have an upset stomach. I have some Sudafed in here too. And some more Alka-Seltzer and some Breathe Right strips, just in case I ever got sick on the road. And that empties out the compartment. Next in here, I do have my gluten pills because my stomach is really sensitive to gluten sometimes. So I take about 1 a day, or if I'm gonna have a big meal that has a lot of gluten in it, like pasta, I'll take 1 right before I eat. Vaseline, a necessity. I need to have something for my lips every single time I go anywhere. And then finally, I do have this little card, and it does have some breath prayers on it, just because I am so anxious when I'm bowling by myself that I need some prayers. And I found these, I think, on TikTok, and they're just super useful just to slow my breathing and to just take a second to be with the Lord. The front pocket is empty, nothing else in there. Usually I do have a pen in there, but because we were traveling, I think I put it in another compartment. I find that these backpacks are huge. They fit so much, but also I feel like I can't fit anything in them, but it's because I'm an overpacker. The first little bag that comes out of here is this one. This one is like my hygienics bag, and I call it that because we have a Tide stick that's literally empty, so that's not doing me any good. I have some lotion. This is kept separately because if you're a bowler, you know what happens when you don't mean to put lotion on. I have a deodorant because if you've ever been at a college tournament, you know people be stinky. Deodorant, always. It's a long day in the bowling alley. I like the spray because then it's not as weird if somebody asks for it. You can always give it to them. This is almost completely full because I need to have a full deodorant with me at all times. I have this Burt's Bees conditioning chapstick, which is my favorite chapstick in the stick form. And then finally, I have this mini perfume thanks to Hay. She gave me this little one. And this again helps just with stink, and honestly on the bus sometimes it be reeking on the bus, so having a perfume in there is super helpful because then you can just start spraying it and you don't smell the stink anymore. The next thing in this compartment, hairbrush. Usually I have hair ties on the end of this. I'm not sure where they went. I must have used them all. Next thing in this pocket, this is my bowling essentials pouch. It unzips and there's just a ton. This is like a bowler's paradise right here. We have my pencils and pens that I told you from earlier. We're gonna be in another compartment, so I'll move those back to the front compartment. I do have some KT tape. I normally don't use KT tape, but on the off chance that I do want it, or if somebody else wants it, I do have that. Shoe brush, of course. Sticky and slippery approaches, you need a shoe brush. I have a scissors in here, which is useful for literally everything. I have this switch grip, and this is too small for my thumb, but we make it work. I have an extra thumb, blue. I have my tape, black tape, 2 sizes, and then I have some white tape in there that I need to get some more of because I'm running out. And then finally in this compartment, Band-Aids, because I'm a picker and I will pick my fingers until they bleed. So having Band-Aids in here is a must. And that empties out this compartment. I'm gonna put everything back in here. Digging a little bit deeper into this middle pocket are just things that I typically don't use, but just in case I need it. I have this little keychain, I guess. That was from Nationals, I'm assuming, and this little pin from Nationals that I forgot was in there. Next, I have this towel. I do use the towel, I will say that. This towel is literally from, what does it say, 2016 Minnesota State Championships. I use this towel to wipe off my ball after I sand it because it gets so icky. This is my wet towel. I call it my wet towel because I only use this when I spray a cleaner. Typically, the cleaner is with this, but because we went to Las Vegas, I did put it in a smaller container, but usually it's a bigger container of the ball cleaner. I don't even know where my ball cleaner is, if it's even in here. If it's not, this is typically where it is. I wrap this guy around the bottle and then I put it in a Ziploc bag. Another little pin for the ITC. I do have a rosin bag. I do not use rosin. I am somebody, I be washing my hands when I'm bowling, and I don't know how people don't wash their hands when they're bowling because I love the feeling of fresh, clean hands when I throw a ball. But in case my hands ever got super bad, I did have rosin. I don't really like it that much, but it's in there just in case. And that clears out the second compartment, so I'm gonna put everything back in here. Finally, we're on to the last pocket, which is the biggest pocket. This is where I keep my shoes. So of course, the first thing in here, my shoes. I use I don't even know what they're called. They're called the Nines. My favorite color is red, so this is the perfect shoe for me. If you guys are considering college bowling, the one thing I will recommend for you, you gotta get some inserts for your shoes because what's in there will not cut it. So invest in a good pair of inserts. I think I bought 3 or 4. I know I bought a new one every single year because your feet are gonna hurt from standing all day. I have 2 shoe covers in here. One is Brunswick and then one is the C9 one. And one of these is supposed to be on the shoe. I have this towel in the bottom of here. This should be in the second pocket with my other towels, but it's just a hammer chamois. Next, I have this bag in here, which has my extra slides and heels. And then typically this tool is inside. I'm not sure why it wasn't. But this helps just to get underneath the slides because sometimes these slides and heels are hard to take off. So I think this is just like a putty thing and it just goes underneath the heel or the slide just so that you can pry it off without having to break your fingernails. 2 more things left in here. The first thing is this Sudoku book. I love Sudoku and I typically play it before practice. I got all the way to page almost through 67. I started 67, didn't finish it. That's a little bit sad, but I used to play it before practice. And then if I was also bowling individually and I started to feel stressed out, I would start playing it then too. The last thing that's in this pouch is my bowling folder. Again, if you are going into college bowling, get a folder. I never really thought to bring one, but you just have a ton of papers that you need. I have a lot of these spare sheets. I have this college thing for good grades, I think, and then spare sheets. I have just a bunch of stuff in here. Phil did like to give us a bunch of paperwork that we could look back on, and that is super useful. A lot of it is like, I see one where it's commit no matter what, and it's just a reading about how you should be autographing your shot every single time you throw a shot. Mental game thoughts. There's some games in here too that I do like to play solo if I'm able to. Just a lot of paperwork about mental game especially, and also physical game. And that clears out this back pocket, so I'm gonna put everything back just like before. I am a huge overpacker. I like to be ready for any situation, so this is the cleanest that my backpack has been. But you guys will have to let me know if you want a travel essential for bowling, because I did find that a lot of things that you need in a hotel when you just go on a vacation are very different from what you need when you go for a bowling tournament. So let me know if you guys want that kind of a video in the comments below. Lastly, for the side pockets, which is super easy because this side doesn't have anything. Typically, I would put my phone in there at practice just so it was off the table and so that I wasn't being distracted by it. And then this side just has a water bottle. I love my Awalas. This one I call my bowling water bottle because it's dented right at the bottom. So I call this one my bowling water bottle because I'm not super sentimental to it. If it gets dented, it gets dented. It's already dented. But I definitely would recommend bringing a lot of water. So that wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if I missed anything that you have in your backpack that I maybe don't. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Time to be real. I can't be real. I'm gonna be fake.